Then we have another U-Haul. That's a whole situation we can talk about maybe on another date without the story. Definitely make sure you upsize on your U-Haul. Like, even if they advise you to switch or whatever, go with your gut.
Ain't it fun?
I'll do my best to adjust the lighting, but hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Haley if you're new here. So excited you decided to click on this video. Hope you decide to stick around and subscribe down below for all the other moving, organizing, unpacking, everything in between content that is to come. Today, as I mentioned in the very first moving vlog, if you haven't seen that, it will be down below and then somewhere up above for you to check out. I mentioned that there was a little bit of a U-Haul story that I didn't really go too much in depth about, but promised that I would mention later. Well, as I was editing the video that you'll see next Sunday, it got a little lengthy, so I decided to break it up into two different videos. Instead of letting it hold off a little bit longer with the story time in that vlog, I figured I would just make it its own separate video for this Sunday. Hope you guys enjoy. I am assembling a rolling shoe rack to give you some context of what I'm doing. That'll make more sense once you watch the video that it was previously a part of. Didn't want to hold it off any longer. As I mentioned throughout the story time a lot, there are places where I clearly learned mistakes that I take accountability for, and there's errors where I think U-Haul kind of misled me in a certain way. Take that as you will. Just wanted to share my experience. Hopefully other people aren't misguided, or hopefully they don't fall down the path that I ended up in. I hope you learn from my mistakes. So while I finished doing this, I figured I would explain what happened yesterday as well as the U-Haul story, because I realized in editing the video you would have seen prior to this one, I never did explain what all happened for, you know, move-in for that. So in essence, what happened with the U-Haul, we'll go start with that one, is I had it already reserved. I planned to have a trailer, like I think it was the 6x12 trailer, and I've used that one before. I think the most recent time I had my stuff, that worked, but mind you, that one did not include, like, I didn't have my couch when I did the load. Like, I never like moved all my things at one time. Over the past 3 years worth of moves, I've moved maybe all my stuff, and then I had the couch and that was moved separately, or maybe stuff was moved from like a storage unit and it took multiple trips. Like, either way, it's never been all collective. So that was one on my mistake, not thinking about collectively, like, how will that impact, and relying heavily on the U-Haul suggestion, like, oh, if you only have a studio worth of stuff or 1 bedroom worth of stuff, you only need X, Y. That's where I failed. I should have gone up. So with that, what I mean there is I had the trailer, and then when I went back to read the fine print, it was basically like, oh, like if you have this type of like bedding and a couch and like kind of the major items that I listed, it was like, you're gonna need to upgrade to a 10-foot truck. Like, this 6x12 trailer is not gonna fit all your things. I'm like, okay, cool. So I upgraded to the 10-foot truck. Prior to even getting the 10-foot truck, we'll start there. The day of, early in the afternoon, because I think my reservation was for like either 5 or 6 p.m. that day, and it was on a Friday, and I had made this reservation late June, like let's just say like June 22nd, because I knew the time of year I was going to be getting it was August, and that's obviously moving season for like college students, people in general. Like, a lot of moving tends to happen, so I knew the U-Hauls would have limited availability and high demand, and so I wanted to make sure I secured mine well in advance before any of these issues could occur. So I went ahead, I secured the U-Haul, let's just say, like I said, June 22nd. I make this change, I'll say like July 7th, like it was right after 4th of July, and I decided to upgrade to a 10-foot truck. Mind you, in doing that, I didn't think about, okay, I went from a 6x12 to a 10-foot truck. I'm gonna be losing some like base because it's no longer 12, it's just 10 feet. So I do that, and then from that point, the day of, I get this notification. I think it was around like noon, a few hours right before I need to go and get the vehicle, and it basically said like, oh, instead of this location that you originally wanted to pick it up from, now you need to pick it up from this other location that's like 30 minutes on the opposite side now. And I'm thinking in my head, like, really? I strategically picked this location because of its convenience. Like, I already have all this other stuff going on. Okay, fine, at least it's like within town, and at least they have one. Like, I'm thinking maybe the reason why it's doing that is because somebody else changed their reservation, or they won't be able to have the 10-foot truck at this location. So okay, you know, no worries, I'll make that work. So I let my father know, because I knew he was really the one who's going to be driving said U-Haul, so he was going to go with me for him to pick it up, and I was going to drive him and all the stuff. So I let him know. We get over there, and this place is like low-key sketch. So there's just like a random tree and a U-Haul with like grass really high, like you would think like this might have been an abandoned area. There was like storage unit. The only struggle was we couldn't access the car. Like, there was no clear instructions. So I'm like looking on my paperwork, nothing's explaining like where we're supposed to get the keys. By this point, it's after hours. Before we got over there, I did go ahead and call call the people just to make sure they actually had the vehicle. Like after this whole back and forth switching situation, I didn't want to get over there, invest the time and energy and gas money just for them not to have it. So I called them and like, hey, we're actually about to leave, so like this is what you need to do. You can do it on your own, you can do an app, like you'll be good to go. So I knew by this point that we're over here. They're already gone for the day. It's Friday afternoon and I think it's like 5:30 or so, and they've left at 5. Next best thing is to contact U-Haul. So we contact U-Haul, we leave a message, they eventually call me back, and the lady, we'll just say she was having a rough day. So she like is really snippy and is like, oh, you need to do blah blah blah, you need to watch this video. And I'm like, okay, what video? And so she's like, I'm gonna send it to you. Sends me the information for it. I watch the video. I'm trying to make this a little bit quicker. Once I watch the video, I'm like, oh, we need to do X, Y, and Z, and then that will allow us to access. So we finally find the keys, we do the little like talk about the condition of the vehicle, we do all those things. And so fast forward to moving day, the next day on that Saturday, getting my things that I already had at home before we even get to the storage unit, like already were a lot of items. There was obviously the other bed, there was the couch, like those things weren't in the storage unit, and the storage unit itself was, I think it was a 5x11, 5x12, like it was basically the same size as the original U-Haul trailer. So I thought I would be good. Again, I didn't factor in all these other items that weren't already in the storage unit that I was also going to have to carry. We start loading those things in, we get there, the movers, they were so helpful in the fact that that 10-foot truck, we really just did the best we could in that situation. In hindsight, I would have upgraded to a 15-foot truck because then there would have been more than enough space and then we would have been able to minimize some of the vehicles. But that, in somewhat short, is what the U-Haul situation was that I referenced in the first moving vlog. Like all the back and forth, why I advise, like even if they suggest or recommend that you downgrade, or that you, in my situation, they thought it was an upgrade but then really it was downgrade because I was losing some of the space, just go with your gut. Like if you feel like you have more items than like what they're suggesting or recommending, just upgrade to the next tier. It's well worth it, more so to pay that additional money and gas than to be in a situation where you don't have enough space. And honestly, because of the time and like the demand and stuff, there wouldn't have been really an option for me to, at the time on Saturday, to go ahead and just figure out how to upgrade to a 15-foot truck like in the area. That time of day and the demand and all, there was just not going to be one readily accessible. That's what that story is about. As I said at the beginning of this video, I really hope you enjoyed story time. Let me know if you've ever had a crazy U-Haul situation, story, anything in between in the comments down below. Until next time, I will catch you guys on the flip side for a couple more moving vlogs. Hope you guys are still loving it. Definitely keep on giving them thumbs up. That way I know you want to see more videos like this. Bye guys.